Hello, and welcome back to Due Diligence Investor. I'm going to be starting a new segment of the show where I give my unsolicited opinion on a number of things. Mostly, I really want to give some advice that I've gleaned throughout my investment career and my investing insights that I've gleaned from listening to very experienced people in the field and how to get ahead and create the results in the world that we want just faster. Just how do we get ahead faster? How do we create the lifestyle that we want faster and have a much more fulfilling, righteous life? And today I'm going to be going over the 5 rules to avoid poverty. It's unbelievably easy to build wealth. It simply takes a little bit of time and takes avoiding doing something. 5 things in particular, which are often handed out as rules to live by and good advice, but I promise they're, while well-intentioned, are often not the best to follow. So let's start off with number 1. Treat education as an investment, not an experience. Now, people are often told to go to college to get a college experience, to have the college lifestyle, to major in whatever they find interesting. I strongly disagree with this. I believe that when you are leaving secondary education to go into post-secondary, that you should be focusing on what you are buying with your time and your money. So you should be interested in the job that you're going to get as soon as you exit, and not so much on the degree or the prestige or the experience that goes along with that. So really what you should be doing, this is very difficult to do as an 18, 19-year-old young individual who doesn't really know what they're talking about. This is why a consultancy can help, but to reverse engineer where you want to be at 25, 30, 35, 40, and then reverse engineer that goal and reverse engineer that career. It is completely possible, and it sometimes leads to some surprising results and some surprising lifestyles. It's a much better way of approaching the education system and a very different paradigm to approaching the education system than is often promoted, where just take whatever you like, take whatever you're interested in, any degree is a good degree. I disagree with this very, very strongly. I think that you should be focused on what you are investing in your own education and what that is going to buy in return. As an investor, I always want the highest return on my investment with the lowest amount of risk. I would approach my college education the exact same way. I'm just saying, please don't major in dumb things like puppetry. Okay, number 2. Don't commit crime. Now this sounds very obvious, and it is very obvious for a reason, but focusing on your long-term goals and having a much more perspicient perspective about the future allows you to be a much more calmer individual and allows you to make much better decisions. It also allows you to take activities and people out of your life which are not adding to it at all, and leads to a much more calmer, almost stoic existence, to the point where, the idea of, candidly, I was a very aggressive youth, and the idea of purposely going out looking for a fight these days is quaint at best. I have a very different understanding of the world, and it was often because I was directionless and was not given that advice that there are better ways to deal with your own problems, and a way to build and create the world around you, to create reality around you in a way which is beneficial and exciting, really rejuvenating and revitalizing every day. That inspired me onto a new way of living and a new understanding to what Nietzsche would call as positive pessimism, although I'm not a follower of his. He has a good point on that. All right. Ideally, just stay out of the metal box. Yeah, it's not worth it to go in there. Nothing is ever going to be worth it. You are the most important asset in the universe. Don't ever forget that. Nothing else matters. All right, live below your means. Okay. This is a very common problem of living in the Occident, but it is misdiagnosis of what's going on. There is no cost of living crisis. The economy is simply expressing its vicissitudes at the moment. There is a cost of decadence crisis. Now, people are used to living a very affluent lifestyle, which is not really how people have lived throughout history. It was enjoyable for a time. However, as soon as things get the least bit tough, here everybody starts running for the hills and simply does not or refuses to plan for the future. The 2020 excitement should have been a wake-up call for everyone. And if you have still refused to get your life in order, I have no sympathy for you. Now, the question is, how much should you be investing? Well, that depends on what your current life stage is. It depends on where you are and what your current situation is. And it's called personal finance for a reason. It's a very specific to you, and it's why the allocation of all of your resources, both monetary as well as time, the allotment of which is so important. Now, remember, lifestyles can be addictive. It is fun to go out and to spend a lot of money, and just remember, it's better if you can be spending other people's money. Number 4, be very careful whom you marry. If there's anything that the baby boomers and Gen X divorce rate has taught us, it is that selecting a partner on a very long term and a core belief and core values is what is essential for a strong relationship. So again, if you're going to be investing in your own life and your own lifestyle in somebody who is going into another person who is sapient and is going to be interactive with you, you should be having regular open talks about your finances and your current life and your future life together easily. Sometimes people think it's odd that when I suggest running relationships almost as if they were an employee-employer relationship, or almost as a corporate relationship, but it's important to have a structure, like a sit-down meeting once a week, just to discuss how you're doing with each other, just to discuss how you're enjoying each other's time, how you're enjoying your current life together, what your plans for the future are, making sure that you're both on point. This creates an environment and a structure where you're open and you can talk about this, and it's not held back. Oh, should I talk about this now? Should I not talk about this now? No, you have an hour per week that you're going to sit down at the kitchen table or wherever it is together. You're going to talk and discuss and make sure that you're both on the same page and that you're both getting out of the relationship what you need. If that gives you a sense of trepidation, or you feel like you cannot perform this with your partner, I would say that you are still at a very immature phase of your relationship, that this is something which is necessary for people who truly want to grow a life together, and it will pay dividends down the line if you are willing to go through this uncomfortable experience together. And if you're not, or you are unable to find somebody like this, or if you decide to go your own personal way, then it's absolutely possible for you to do so. Well, we live in an industrial age where technology has advanced so much, nobody really needs each other anymore. Men don't need women, women don't need men. Everybody is completely capable of living on their own. That is a completely valid option, and you should enjoy that. If that is what your choice is, and that is what you want to do, enjoy it as well. I do believe that everyone has their own individual path, and it makes the world a much more colorful place to exist in when we do have these diverse aspects of living. But now that we are in a situation where marriage is not necessary, it should only be when it is highly, highly complementary. And on that note, number 5, plan your children, plan your kids properly. Now, it's very common for parents to pressure their children into having children that they are either unable to afford at that time, unable to afford either in the monetary sense or in the time sense. They simply would not be able to give the resources to that child, which future grandma or grandpa really, really want, but may not be best for that couple or for the child itself. It's important to have those boundaries and to be able to stand your ground and to understand what is best for your own future. As I said, personal finance is very personal. What more of an investment could be that you're investing for the next 18 years? It's not a decision to be made lightly. And on the same note, not having more kids than you can afford. Generational wealth can be a thing. Generational poverty is just as, if not more, prevalent. End the cycle. Were your parents poor? Were your grandparents poor? My parents did not teach me anything about this. They were quite literally worse than useless on this front. I would have been better getting no advice from them. So you right now have an amazing opportunity to create a better life for yourself, for your future, for your community. I think that's very exciting. It is very inspiring. And if you have watched so far, thank you. You're definitely one of the individuals who also gets excited by creating on a long-term plan. And children are an absolute blessing. Very, very beautiful experience. Having them when you are ready and setting them up so that they can succeed in the world in the best possible way is a difficult and ergo exceedingly admirable thing to do. Thanks so much for watching to the end. I guess like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I don't know YouTube very well. Perhaps I shall read comments if they are exceedingly interesting or well thought out. Either way, I want you to know that you're doing a fantastic job right now. If you're investing your money, if you're focusing on the future, if you're putting it away, if you are constantly improving yourself in your own metaphysical ability and cognition of the world, as well as the physical reality around you, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep going. It doesn't matter that nobody can see your progress. You can see your progress. And even if nobody else out there believes in you, I want you to know that I believe in you. Maybe I can be that person who believes in you when nobody else does. Keep going. I'm also going to be releasing a book. This is just all of my research notes. Here's everything that you need to know. I don't have a release date for it yet. It's probably going to be in April. But as soon as you pre-order it or you buy a copy of it, you will receive all updates in the future for free. and you'll be on my permanent mailing list. If you would like to receive updates on what's going on in my own personal sphere, that's probably the best and really the only way of doing it. Or if you would like to talk to me directly, I'm generally difficult to contact by design. Speaking of removing distractions from your life, I find that I am very, very focused on very few activities these days. So if you would like to ping my attention, this is how you do it. You can either get an email or video response, that's often what's needed, or a one-on-one consultation for somebody who needs to sit down. I charge for 1 hour, but we take as long as we need. It's never more than 2, but we figure out and I solve problems. You leave that hour in a far better place than when you came in, and that's the goal of it. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself out there. Happy New Year. You're doing a great job right now, and I believe in you.